Hi, my name is Emily Browning, and today I'm going to be talking about Chapter 3, Culturally Relevant Teaching. Before we dive in, it's important to revisit the definition of culturally relevant teaching. Peng defines CRT as an approach to teaching that seeks to integrate culture into the classroom and identify relevant cultural practices to assist in instruction. When we embrace culturally relevant teaching, we incorporate psychological principles of learning into the decision-making practices, including the curriculum we choose. We make sure that we are using teaching practices that keep culture in mind, while also making sure that we select relevant and meaningful materials to share with our students. Material that really reflects the life that they have outside the four walls of our classroom. Culturally relevant teaching has primarily been informed by research done by Lev Vygotsky. His sociocultural theory of learning underlays many of the principles of CRT. Vygotsky saw learning as a social act and believed that cultural context of the learner needs to be understood in order to effectively educate a student. In addition, cognitive learning theory must be woven into the design of CRT in order to help us understand how our students learn and problem solve. Vygotsky's work inspired the use of cultural models, which were developed by Dr. Carol D. Lee. These models can be used to, quote, consider aspects of people's shared worldviews and help to organize large amounts of information. When we use cultural models, we are better able to understand the interests, traditions, and mannerisms of our students. Lee tested her theory by connecting the practice of signifying in the African American community to the literature of her African American students. By activating this prior knowledge and engaging students with culturally relevant material that helped mirror their own experience, she was able to demonstrate a significant advantage over conventional Eurocentric learning styles that did not incorporate this culturally relevant technique. Before we begin to design culturally relevant lessons, we first need to get to know our students. We need to be aware of their cultures, interests, and unique learning styles. It's important that we know not only what motivates them, but also that we know what they struggle with. Then, based on this knowledge, we can choose from a variety of strategies. For example, if we have a population of largely English learners, chunking, a type of scaffolding strategy, can be a good way to teach large concepts. Role-playing can be a helpful tool in understanding behavioral norms and expectations. Lastly, by making deliberate and relevant material choices that reflect the hobbies and backgrounds of our students, we can increase student understanding and investment. It is important to keep several things in mind when we are employing culturally relevant teaching. First, culture shapes how people learn. Different cultures may have different goals and ambitions. Culture is also going to impact the skills that people developed based on what is required from them in everyday life. Two notable projects have set out to use culturally relevant principles to inform teaching. The Funds of Knowledge project combines parental involvement with the extensive amount of prior knowledges and life experiences that students enter the classroom with. They say that they're rich with all of this knowledge and life experience. And so that then it taps into that to extend learning and increase understanding. The Algebra project, like the Funds of Knowledge project, also takes a holistic approach of trying to educate the whole student, but it does so with specific approaches aimed at math instruction. By combining students' lived experiences with mathematical principles and concepts that are often vague in nature, students are better able to grasp this notoriously hard subject.